This is Kerry Cassidy from Project Camelot, and we are very happy to welcome Richard Hoagland, David Wilcock, and Bill Ryan, and we are very happy to do this conference today. It is a conference on disclosure. It is not just merely disclosure in terms of having the government disclose, but we are actually taking things into our own hands here and doing a little disclosing of our own. And this is going worldwide. We have quite a number of people on the line with us here today around the world. So please be aware that if and when you do come on the phone and you're able to ask questions, that you are polite and that you give everyone a chance to participate in this situation. Okay, and anyone who is on the line with me here, I believe, I'm not sure how the procedure goes, but hopefully everything will work in terms of logistics. Okay, at this moment, what I'd like to do is start out with a statement from David Wilcock and Richard Hoagland, and then Bill Ryan. I believe let's start off with Richard Hoagland. Sorry, go right ahead. I'm sorry, something just interrupted.
Okay. This is like backstage radio, so actually you'll probably be going longer than 3 hours so people get their money's worth, but as everything settles down. So let me give some context. The reason that I'm intrigued as heck about what's going on is because we are seeing disclosure all around us. I see on my Facebook pages, because I posted obviously to the 20,000 more or less fans and friends that I have so far, statements about this impending teleconference, and I've been reading the reactions. And what I'm intrigued with is that people are very, very jaded and extremely skeptical and almost to the point of being bitter that they are ever going to find out anything valid or solid or official regarding any of the topics and events that we all discuss from time to time on our various conferences, or in our books or DVDs or wherever we meet people, because they're expecting, and I think this is part of the problem of this culture, they're expecting the president to sit down in an official Oval Office address and reveal to the nation and reveal to the world that we are not alone, that human history has been basically faked, that most of what we think we know is not only wrong, but has been deliberately kept wrong for centuries, if not thousands of years. In other words, when you talk about disclosure, from my perspective, disclosure means the real truth about human existence on this planet finally comes out. Now, does that come out in a presidential speech, or a presidential speech flanked by ETs or aliens, as a member of our teleconference this afternoon has said many times? And emphatically, I say absolutely not. That is not what is going to happen. It's not what is going on now. And anyone who expects disclosure to come in that form is going to be very sadly disappointed. As I can see from the responses, a lot of people are very upset that there have been no major milestones, no huge, ticker tape parades, no enormous Hollywood signs saying aliens are here or the human race is not alone or something like that. That is not how it is taking place. Instead, if you watch mainstream media, which I do every day as part of my job, you will see all kinds of evidences, not only of disclosure of extraterrestrials, but a disclosure of all the other stuff that's been going on this planet for certainly the last 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, you have to actually begin now, in my perspective, to correlate between mainstream events, elections, financial scandals, legislation, speeches, pronouncements, people taking bizarre public actions who are public servants and who don't act like servants at all, and this kind of hidden world of ET, paranormal, ufology, et cetera, because the more you watch, the more you are going to see that these two worlds, formerly immiscible, formerly with a Berlin Wall between them, are coming together inexorably even as we watch. And I'll give you one specific example, and then I guess I will turn it over to David. The whole Julian Assange thing I find absolutely fascinating, because to me, Assange and the whole WikiLeaks phenomenon represents how real disclosure is going to unfold. The very fact that WikiLeaks has mentioned UFOs are in some of this cable traffic they are about to release. And then there was a story this morning in The Guardian claiming there's no UFO information in the WikiLeaks cables they are about to release. This is as chaotic as you can get. This is as pushback as you can get. Disclosure is not going to be one neat speech done by one, elected politician. Disclosure is sloppy, it's messy, and it's going on all around us. All you have to do is watch.
Okay, thank you, Richard. That's a very interesting introduction, and I appreciate hearing that. Okay, David, you're up next.
What I see happening is a story that actually goes way back in time, and it's a story that can be something that we can trace back through, according to our own beloved witness, Henry Deacon, at least the last 10,000 years. One of the things that I found out from him in the course of a long amount of conversation was actually that the situation that we have here on Earth is a situation in which human extraterrestrials visited us long, long ago. It's been something that's been going on for at least the last 10,000 years. He also told me that they built working Stargate portal technology, which he called the ancient Stargate systems, and it was only very recently this year that I spoke to him and found out that one of these Stargate systems does actually look just like what you see in the Stargate movie and in the Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis television shows, in that it's actually a ring, and the ring does have components that rotate on the outside, just like in the television show. He said the real one is in southwest Iraq. There's a little thing that kind of looks like a corner down there on the map, and it's down there. He said that there are two pillars on either side of it that look like obelisks, except that they're very deteriorated, and the tops appear to be broken off. But he said that this is under heavily fortified military guard. You have to go through 3 different levels of security checkpoint before you can get in to see it. But then once you get in and see this, it is a functional Stargate, and it has been used historically for travel to and from the Earth. So it appears that perhaps the entire notion of an Atlantean civilization itself may actually be immigrants. That what we think of as Atlantis was a relatively small population, which at the time was of people who didn't even originate here, but are basically the same as we are in terms of how they look human. And when you look at various megalithic architecture around the world, such as Sacsayhuaman in Peru, if you haven't seen it, it's these massive, massive stone blocks, some of which are 300 tons, which are fitted together. In some cases, there's 19 different facets of these blocks, all coming off of one block. It's as if they were turned into jello and they were mushed together, because you can't even fit a piece of paper in these cracks, but there's no mortar in the way they were constructed. So the conclusion that I've come to after looking at this is that what we think of as Atlantis and even the rival civilization Rama, don't forget, I just did another television shoot for a major cable network, which I can't say who they are right now because I'm under non-disclosure, but they asked me to go into great detail about Atlantis, and I examined the original Plato history of Atlantis. And in that Platonic history, you actually go back and read what it says in this Socratic dialogue. It's describing a war that's going on. Atlantis was not described as a peaceful civilization. There is a clear war going on. Atlantis is a civilization that was settled on a continental type island, and all that ocean around them made them very easy to defend themselves from foreign invaders. They had started to colonize other islands in the area, and they were trying to get more and more into outlying regions. Egypt and Greece both represented people and civilizations who were resisting Atlantis and resisting that tyranny. And then it was shortly after the Egyptians, with the help of the Greeks, and this is ancient times now, threw off